Hello, join me on the Wolf Way, which takes its name from the protector of St Edmund, whose legacy echoes around the whole of Suffolk and East Anglia in place names, monasteries and monuments. It picks up parts of the Icknield Way, one of the ancient King's Highways, which are wide sandy tracks forged in a time before land enclosure. The route takes riders through beautiful heathland rich with wildlife, like the stone curlews at Lavenham Heath, wading birds at Minsmere and Trimley, and Exmoor ponies, helping to rewild Knettishall Heath. There are also several ancient forests, medieval towns, and ancient Roman capitals like Dunwich, much of which was swallowed up by the sea in the 13th century. The Wolf Way is a 257-mile cycling adventure around Suffolk, winding its way around many of the best bridleways, byways, gravel tracks, cycle paths and quiet roads. It takes in some of Suffolk's most beautiful locations and hidden gems. I started my ride at the village of Barnham near Thetford at the St Gregory's Church, although the official start of the ride is in Bury St Edmunds by the cathedral by the wolf statue. After about a 5-mile ride from the car, I joined the Wolf Way on an off-road section. About a quarter of the Wolf Way is off-road. Conditions were favourable on the trip. The sun was out, the forecast was good, and the wind was low, which is pretty good news as I'll be wild camping on this trip.
The Wolf Way is quite an easy ride. Most of it's on quiet country lanes, a few trails, but nothing too arduous, so not worried about that. I'm on the hardtail, which will easily be enough, but I reckon you can do this ride on a gravel bike, possibly a road bike with some decent tread on the tyres. It's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so still a bit of time because it's June and plenty of light, so hopefully I'll do 30 or 40 miles today, see how it goes. I'm not aiming to break any records on this trip, just take it easy. It's my first big ride of the year. So you can see my hardtail. It's a Norco Revolver, 100 metres travel, and I'm running tail fin bikepacking bags or panniers. All of this is quite new, so I'm testing it all out on this trip, but so far so good, no problems whatsoever. It's not a particularly hilly ride, the Wolf Way, so you don't really need mountain bike gears or anything like that.
You might notice the strange gadget lurking from my top tube bag, which is my new DJI Flip drone. Also on the handlebars I've mounted the drone controller for ease of access. On this trip I'll also be running my pedal cell dynamo charger, which I find a really excellent way of charging my bicycle computer and my phone, although they no longer make this, unfortunately. So it's time to head off towards Bury St Edmunds, which is the official start of the route. I'll be passing through villages such as Icklingham, Lavenham and Tuddenham on the way. This part of the journey was mainly off-road and was really pretty. Really enjoyed this part. It was very relaxing, and the gravel was nice and smooth. Some grassy bits too, but nothing too technical. I think you can get through on a gravel bike no problem, although a mountain bike was even more comfortable. On this part of the route, be prepared for some sandy sections. These are actually, although quite good fun, quite hard going at times. You might find yourself doing hike or bike, but it doesn't last too long, so don't worry about that too much.
Alright, no problem. Hello. Perfect conditions today. The wind subsiding. Real pleasure to ride at the moment. Plenty of bird watchers here today. Nice to be in nature though.
So just approaching Bury St Edmunds now. Bury St Edmunds is known for its history, its beautiful outside spaces, its great mix of independent and high street favourite shops, and for being Suffolk's foodie capital with its fantastic eateries. Surrounded by countryside with 1,000 years of history to explore, Bury St Edmunds is the home of Saint Edmund, the original patron saint of England. The Boer War Memorial in Bury St Edmunds is a monument which was created by the sculptor Arthur Walker. It stands as a memorial to Suffolk soldiers who lost their lives in the South African War in between 1899 and 1902.
No, that's fine, thank you.
Any cutleries?
Yes, please. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye.
The Abbey Gardens in Bury St Edmunds began as a botanic garden established by Nathaniel Hodson in 1831, originally on the east side of the Great Churchyard. It was later relocated to its current location, the former Great Court of the Abbey, and expanded with ornamental paintings. The gardens were opened to the public in 1912 after being leased by the Borough Council. Today they are a popular public park and a significant historical site, incorporating the ruins of the abbey and other historical features. The Abbey Gardens in the heart of Bury St Edmunds is a perfect spot for enjoying peace and quiet whilst watching the world go by, so I decided to eat my fish and chips here.
Hello, I've made it to Bury St Edmunds Cathedral. I'm now in the Rose Garden. What a beautiful setting. The day has just got better. It's got sunnier and sunnier. The wind has gone, so it's all good. Just had some fish and chips in the centre of Bury St Edmunds, and now I'm just chilling. I've done about 23 miles and hope to get it up to about 30 before I start setting up camp somewhere. We'll see how that goes, but plenty of time as the days are long. Okay, that's all for me for now.
Bury St Edmunds Cathedral, originally St James Church, has a history deeply intertwined with the Abbey of St Edmund. The church, which became the cathedral in 1914, stands on the site of the abbey, once a major pilgrimage centre. The abbey history, including its foundation to the house, the remains of King Edmund, a 9th century martyr, predates the church. The church itself was rebuilt in the 14th and 15th centuries in perpendicular Gothic style, with the nave dating back to the 16th century. The Bury St Edmunds Cathedral courtyard, also known as the Abbey Gardens, has a rich history rooted in the former Benedictine Abbey. The courtyard, once the heart of the monastery's buildings, is now a public space featuring the ruins of the abbey and the cathedral. The area has evolved from a centre of monastic life to a site of pilgrimage and historical significance, with the current cathedral being a relative recent transformation of the former St James Church.
So I'm here at the official start of the Wolf's Way.
The legend of St Edmund and the Wolf is a central part of the history of Bury St Edmunds, particularly associated with the St Edmundsbury Cathedral. The story tells that after being killed by Danish invaders, St Edmund's body was found, but his head was missing. His followers heard a wolf crying, "Here, here, here," and followed the sound to discover the wolf guarding the head. The wolf allowed the followers to retrieve the head, which miraculously reattached to the body when reunited. This event is commemorated in the town's crest and various artistic representations. Having left Bury St Edmunds, it's now time to find a camp spot. Passing through the villages of Rushbrook and Cockfield, I managed to find a nice, quiet spot in the woods near Button's Green. Good morning. It's about 6:20 in the morning and I've had a decent night's sleep, just over 7 hours sleep. I'm in the woods, somewhere between Bury St Edmunds and Sudbury. There's about 30 miles to go to Sudbury. It's going to be a sunny day, so that's generally good, but it could be a hot one, so it was a little bit sweaty yesterday too, but looking forward to it. So I'm going to pack up camp now and head on onwards. For today's ride I'm heading out towards Ipswich, first stopping at Lavenham, Long Melford, skirting by Sudbury, and then going out towards Burrs, Assington, White Street, Hadley, Chattersham, Washbrook, and then Ipswich. And then if I get any further than that, that will be a bonus.
Hello.
Sorry, that's a maybe. I was marvellous.
That's okay, no worries.
140, please.
Thank you. That's great. No, that's okay, thank you. Thanks very much, thank you. Bye. Good morning. I've arrived at Lavenham now. I'm just stood outside Lavenham Church, which is quite spectacular, as you can see. I might take a visit inside in a moment just to see what it's like. I'm not making very good time today, but you know what? I don't really care, because I'm here to enjoy the journey, and if it takes me an extra day, it takes me an extra day. Okay, I've just had breakfast, some porridge on the bench by the Lavenham Church. So let's take a look inside and see what we can find. I'm sure it'll be amazing inside.
St Peter and St Paul's Church in Lavenham is a Grade 1 listed parish church in the Church of England. It is a notable world church and is regarded as one of the finest examples of late perpendicular Gothic architecture in England. A church has existed on the current site since Anglo-Saxon times. The original church, which was probably wooden, was rebuilt in stone in the 14th century. The chancel, the oldest part of the current church, having been constructed in 1340 and decorated with money from the wealthy citizens. In the decades following the Black Death, the town of Lavenham grew rich as a result of the booming wool trade. The 14th century church was added to and modified several times in order to demonstrate the new wealth of its religious community. Further reconstruction of the church took place between 1485 and 1525. The architect is thought to have been John Wastell, who built the Church of St Mary the Great, Cambridge. The building is a late perpendicular in its design and regarded as one of the finest churches built in that style. It was also one of the last churches to be completed before the English Reformation. The building is decorated with the coat of arms of the families, the spring arms, as well as the merchant's mark of Thomas Spring. Appears over 30 times on the exterior of the building, whilst the star of the De Vere family surrounds the top of the tower. Today the church is one of the most visited in East Anglia. Time to head off to Long Melford. What a shame I haven't got a better zoom on me to take a better picture of this bird of prey. Melford Hall is a stately home in the village of Long Melford. Since 1786 it has been the seat of the Parker baronets and is still lived in by the Hyde Parker family. Since 1960 it's been owned by the National Trust. Having left Long Melford and Melford Hall behind, I now headed off towards Burrs on a really nice section of gravel. It's lovely dappled shade and provided some respite from the sun, which was getting pretty hot.
What's your name?
By this stage I was getting quite thirsty, so I was quite desperate to find a corner shop or something for a drink or an ice cream. One of the lovely things about these sort of trips is that you bump into all sorts of people in these small, quaint little villages, and that's what happened. I bumped into a lady sitting outside of her local shop, and we had a really nice chat.
I did, yeah. No, definitely not. No, I could do with electric. No, I fancied a can of drink if you sell them. Do you sell? Oh, lovely. Smashing. Oh, there they are. Yep. Thank you. What's this village called?
109.
What's this village called?
Polstead.
Polstead, yeah. So I was in the woods last night, yeah.
Whose woods? Where?
Oh, just random. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I wanted to be down
No,
in
not
Oxford.
not near here. How much is that, please?
109. For you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many miles will you do today?
I've done 35 so far, so probably another 25. Try and get to 60, something like that. I stop a lot, you see, so...
Good.
Yep. Well, thanks very much for that.
You're welcome.
Is it okay if I sit in the shade here? It's about 4:30 in the afternoon. I've just stopped for a Coke in a little village called Polstead. Had a little chat with the owners, which was rather nice. And now heading towards Ipswich. It's a glorious day, about 21-22 degrees. Bit breezy, but that's not a bad thing. Keeps you cool. Tends to be a bit of a headwind now, so slowing me down a little bit. So probably doing less mileage today than I hoped.
Well, that's the end of part 1. Please join me for part 2, where I'll be travelling along the coast through Felixstowe up towards Dunwich. In part 2 I'll be passing through more medieval villages, exploring more ancient forests, as well as more castles, abbeys and churches, including the magnificent Ortford Castle and Leiston Abbey. I also find some time to relax at the Cliff House Holiday Park at Dunwich and check out the beach and have a lovely swim before being hit by an unexpected storm. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next part. Bye.